Welcome to the great NJPAC, New Jersey Performing Arts Center. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce two very special guests. Normally this is one-on-one, this is one-on-two today. Alison Scott-Williams, Vice President of Arts Education, NJPAC, and Stefon Harris, educator and musician. Good to see both of you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Well, the Arts Education Initiative is huge here at the PAC because?
We are announcing our new School Time series and partnership with the Newark Public School District. We are increasing the amount of children that will be able to see the programs from 15,000 to 24,000 over the next 2 years.
This is huge. By the way, let's put this in perspective. People say, what do you mean arts education? What does that even mean? What do you do?
We offer in-school residencies. We bring over 30,000 children here to performances for them to see things like the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater and to see Stefon Harris perform jazz. And we have a whole series of over 35 concerts that go on here all year long.
Why is this guy so talented? What's his talent? Before I turn to him.
He is one of the most brilliant educators and performers and artists on the scene today.
Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Albany, New York originally.
Is that right?
That's right.
How'd we get you?
My wife is originally from Newark.
Is that right?
That's right. So I ended up moving to Newark. It's been 20 years now.
Make the connection between your work as an artist and arts education.
So I would begin by saying that part of the role of arts education is not just about giving children information and exposure. I was a kid who saw the Albany Symphony Orchestra for the first time when I was in about 4th grade or so, and it completely transformed my life.
How?
Because I saw 60 human beings on stage together, collectively creating something so amazingly beautiful. I was enamored with this organization, the feeling of music, the power. In 4th grade.
You knew something was happening.
I knew it was happening. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the energy. And so what it did for me is it showed me a world in which if I got involved, I would have a new way to express myself in a way that I wasn't able to in mathematics or in athletics. There's something incredibly subtle in terms of the way that arts allow people to express emotional depth.
So what responsibility do you feel as an arts educator, given what you just said?
Well, on many levels, I feel that it's important to understand that the role of arts in our greater society, that ultimately we're supposed to be a sonic manifestation of the ideals of the community.
Say that again.
That we're supposed
to...
A sonic manifestation of the ideals of the community. So you have communities that feel that they don't have a voice, that don't feel that they have power. And historically, the arts have always been a role, an opportunity, a platform for people to have their stories told in a safe environment. And in particular, jazz is an art form that is all about diversity of thought. If you have a bunch of people on stage playing the same way, you don't really have jazz. The magic of jazz is the same magic that exists in our great democracy. The idea that you have diversity of thought and the creativity and the innovation lies in between those seemingly disparate ideas. We create opportunities to challenge one another and accept one another on the stage all the time.
You're shaking your head.
Absolutely. It's why we have arts education and why NJPAC has arts education, a way to connect the community with what goes on here in the Arts Center and a way to inspire children to go from exposure to skill building to making and creating.
Talk about a city like Newark and why arts education is especially, I mean, someone might argue that arts education is important for any kid, but in this city, in these times, with these challenges and these issues?
Well, just as Stefon mentioned how, arts and the arts is a way for one to express themselves, in what their thoughts are. We want to amplify students' authentic voices. Students don't always have enough ways to express themselves. As you recall, he just said, I saw 60 people playing in this symphony and it inspired me. And that's what we want every child to have the opportunity to be inspired and know that the arts is inclusive and to know that here's a place where your voice can be heard. We're here, we want to help you, and we want you to understand that this is for you.
And so your connection to the Newark Public Schools is critical here, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. I would also add that I think it's really important for citizens of Newark to know that they are contributors to one of the greatest art forms on the planet. Newark is one of the leading cities in terms of the development of jazz. People like Wayne Shorter and Sarah Vaughan and James Moody, the icons of this art form, came from
Woody Shaw.
Woody Shaw, that's right, and the list goes on and on. These are people who came from this community, and it's not about those individuals. It's about the idea that there's an energy in this city of imagination, of drive, of passion that manifests itself very well in music. So I think children need to know that there's a great legacy from their forefathers, but it's also their legacy. There's a story that's not going to be told unless they tell it, and we want to provide the opportunity for them to do that.
You know, we had this conversation with John Shriver. John and I, John who heads up the PAC, we talk about this all the time as people who head up nonprofits. We run a not-for-profit production company. People get confused by the term not-for-profit. They think you're a charitable organization in the sense that, oh, so you don't run a business. Oh, so you don't have a bottom line. And so you're making a face already because you know where I'm going with this. So you don't need dollars, you don't need revenue, you don't go out and get grants, you don't need corporate and foundation support. How much support is there in the corporate and foundation community for the work you are doing?
So my department is a $4 million operation, and I do multiple presentations to foundations and corporations and meetings with individuals.
You're out there.
To be out there to raise money for us to be able to provide these concerts. The cost for these concerts is $8 a seat. So we're not here for children to attend school-time concerts and make a lot of money off of selling seats. We want it to be $8 because we want children to have the access and opportunity. So that requires that I write grants and coordinate with my development colleagues.
It's not like government's
meetings.
all in. No disrespect, sorry for interrupting. It's not like government sitting there going, hey, how can we support arts education? Let's make it a top priority item in the budget. I haven't seen that. Am I missing that?
No, with the exception of the New Jersey State Arts Council
Yes.
is very supportive.
And by the way, make sure you do that because they fund the program. You got to make sure you do. I understand that too. But
Right.
but here's the point.
The federal government,
no,
certainly.
they're not in.
Oh, no.
You got to be out there all the time.
I do.
We're fundraisers, are we not?
Each and every day.
No money, no mission.
That's right. No program.
No program. You're right.
I would add
real quick
to that I think it's in the best interest of corporations to contribute to the arts because arts education is not about creating a new generation of artists. That will happen, it's inevitable, but being an artist, I think it's something that's in you and it will come out given the opportunity. But the byproduct of having arts education exposure is that of creativity. And corporations are looking for people who understand the dynamic of working in a team, who understand how not to necessarily micromanage and how to get the best out of every person in the room. And that's what we do. We challenge one another. We learn to accept.
How about creating more well-rounded citizens?
That's right.
What a crazy idea.
Imagine that.
Stefon Harris and Alison Scott-Williams, the Arts Education Initiative here at NJPAC is just first rate, one of the best in the country. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this from NJPAC.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation and the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in association with NJTV and WNET. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been provided by Investors Bank, Berkeley College, the North Ward Center, Century 21 Construction, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, and by the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.